Please welcome each of our panelists and women entrepreneurs. Leah Kirpalani, owner of Shop Good in San Diego. Felecia Fisher-Shamu, owner of Vitality Furniture in Los Angeles. Joann Guitarte, owner of J Peach Inc. in Alameda. And Patricia Rodriguez, owner of SF Parking LLC in San Francisco. Leah, we'll start with you as our moderator. Please tell us about your background and experience and how you came to own Shop Good.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to be leading our conversation today with these inspiring business owners and individuals. I'll share a quick bit about me and then we'll get to the panelists. Thank you for the introduction. My journey into entrepreneurship was inspired by my 8-year chronic health journey. So all through my 20s, I was sick. This followed about a 10-year career, or kind of simultaneously a 10-year career in retail and fashion merchandising. But upon my diving and investigating and researching to try and figure out how to crack the code to my healing, I left the corporate world and decided to receive my credentials in holistic health coaching. So that was my first business. I started my first business as a wellness consultant. That was back in 2014. With my early passion for beauty and skincare products from a very, very young age, I simultaneously realized that it's not just what we put in our bodies, but it's what we put on our bodies that can be just as important to fuel health and well-being. So I came full circle back to retail and back to merchandising and my original career path and opened my first brick and mortar boutique called Shop Good in the North Park area of San Diego in 2017. So Shop Good was kind of this space that I wish that I had access to when I was moving through my health journey. Today, we serve as San Diego's one-stop clean beauty and wellness shop, and we're on a mission to make healthy living more accessible, more effortless, and just more fun for our San Diego community and beyond. We have retail locations in both the North Park and now the Del Mar area, and we offer a highly curated assortment of non-toxic, all-natural skincare, makeup, and wellness products. They're all hand-selected by my team of certified holistic health coaches, product experts, and holistic estheticians. And we also have holistic spas located at both my shop locations. So the dual, retail and service-based model was really crafted to serve as this lifestyle and wellness hub, like I said, that I wish that existed during my healing. And my mission has remained consistent. We've been in business for 6 years now. We just hit our 6-year anniversary this week. And, we're continuing to work on creating a welcoming space where all individuals can find support and access tools and be inspired to feel their best and healthiest selves. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Leah. Our next panelist will be Felecia Fisher-Shamu. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Felecia, and your business. Felecia, looks like you're on mute. There you go.
You got me now?
Got you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. Well, it's an honor for me to be here with California Bank and Trust. We've been with California Bank and Trust for, I think, about 20 years. I started my passion probably 30 years ago. I was in fashion and in modeling, and I got involved into furniture manufacturing. And I have to tell you, just working in a factory, watching the carpenters build, the finishers, we had, French crackles, we had various finishes, stains, and our upholsters. And we also designed furniture, and we manufactured, and we also restored furniture. And so it was always so amazing to be able to take something and restore it, and really be involved with antiques. So I started my first factory. It was called Desert Apricot years ago. And I was doing mostly reupholstery, refinishing. for residential. And we were just really doing so well at that, and I wanted to do bigger business. And I wanted my workers to be working on the same project, over and over in the factory, because everything was always so custom and it just took so much of my time. So we really needed to do more production work. And so I started calling up a few hotels, and actually they let me come in, and I gave them quotes, and we started reupholstering their furniture. We started refinishing, and we started making furniture. And before you know it, we started building our factory. And since then, we have been manufacturing for hotels, restaurants, sports and entertainment entities, and also events. One of our latest projects has been the Westin Bonaventure, the lobby lounge, the 2 restaurants they have there. We made their furniture there. We refinished their furniture there. We also we've done various MGM properties. We finished the Fairmont Century City project. I mean, that was really a nice project because there was a lot of antiques that we restored from Paris. And also the Four Seasons, they have us restore their antiques as well. So it's just been building our business. And I have done many, we got involved. I mean, furniture is furniture. So whether it's for a sport entity, whether it's for a hotel, but we also got into rental furniture. So one of our highlights was being able to do the Super Bowl. And not only did we do the Super Bowl, but we also did the Rams victory parade. And I have to tell you, we provided furniture for 1,500 people in 24 hours. So we felt that we won the Super Bowl. So anyway, yeah. So we really enjoyed the business, and we're getting ready to work on the Intuit Dome. I mean, even though we also worked on the SoFi Dome, but now we're working on the Intuit Dome. So, we're just involved in furniture. So, and I'm just very passionate about it, and so are all of our employees.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Felecia. We're going to go over to Joann Guitarte, J Peach Inc. in Alameda.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Joann Guitarte. I'm the CEO of J Peach Incorporated. My company is made up of several different things, mainly restaurants. We also do retail and entertainment. I have been in the entrepreneurship world since 2001 when I first started. Just like Leah, I left the corporate world and pursued a passion of food and cooking. I opened a pizza place in San Francisco, and from there just grew, expanded. To date, I have a donut shop that I opened 3 years ago, Don Appetit, which is doing very well. We've won 2 awards, actually it's 3 awards now. So 3 years in a row, best donuts. I also own Cafe Jolie, which is a bistro brunch full service restaurant. We really focus on service, the quality of the food, and the experience. And so again, I've been in the business for over 20 years. I love it. We're growing. We're slated for next year for expansion. So we're just really, really excited.
Great. Welcome. And last but not least, Patricia Rodriguez, SF Parking LLC.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Patty Rodriguez, and I'm the owner of SF Parking LLC. We are a parking management company located here in San Francisco. We started the company back in 2011, so we just celebrated our 12-year anniversary. And when we originally started, we started doing valet parking for various locations in specifically in the North Beach area, but other locations in San Francisco. We now have evolved into doing parking management for municipal accounts. So we have expanded to, we started off with 2 employees at the SFO employee parking garage back in 2012, and through a great partnership and mentorship with the Prime Parking Company, we have expanded now to a larger contract within San Francisco International Airport. We are now at the Oakland International Airport, as well as the Sonoma Airport. And so on top of the parking management we do, and also we provide valet services at the Hyatt Hotel that is located right next to SFO. And so we've evolved throughout the years, a lot of highs and lows. The great opportunities that we've had is to become a local business enterprise, which opens the opportunities for us to subcontract, and then also as well become ACDBE certified, so the airport concession disadvantaged business enterprise, pretty long, but that has provided us the opportunities to expand throughout the state and also nationwide. And so that's kind of where we're looking to for the future of SF Parking, is to expand outside of the Bay Area. But I am very proud. I'm a proud San Franciscan, proud to be living here and growing up in the Bay Area. But I think for us, that is our goal, is to really expand outside of the North Bay and beyond. So thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. And now I'm going to turn it over to our moderator, Leah, with a few housekeeping details for us and into our panel discussion.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, everyone, for the introductions. We're all so excited you're here for this conversation. I've had the pleasure of getting to know these business leaders a bit before our chat today, and they have such a wealth of knowledge and experience to share with you all. So, and I know I've found through my many years of entrepreneurship that it's when we can come together and when we have these open and transparent conversations that we all can really lift each other up, and that we can just feel less alone in the process of entrepreneurship and more supported in the process itself. So today we'll dive into everything from ideating to the early stages of these businesses, to shifting and pivoting that we've done over the recent years, to potentially marketing and funding. So before we jump into our main questions specifically, I just want to let everyone tuning in know that we will be answering questions at the end of the panel. So I would recommend, if you have a question, so you don't forget, place it in the chat. We will be reverting back to the chat box at the end of our main questions today, and we'll make sure we have time to answer some of those questions. So leave your questions in the chat and we'll get to those thereafter. So Joann, Felecia, and Patricia, I'll call on each of you at random. We'll rotate through and we'll bounce back and forth. So let's just dive in and get into the first question. Does that sound good to everyone? Wonderful. So we've gotten to hear a bit about your business structure, your model, and I think we can all agree we didn't maybe all expect to start and grow and even expand our businesses in the way that we have today. So if you could each briefly tell us, what was that catalyst that made you decide to go into business? And I want to start with Felecia.
I think I was just very passionate about it. And also being an African-American and really understanding how to manufacture furniture. And the employees, they really enjoyed working with me. And also just the fact some of the hotels wanted to work with me too. So it made me feel that I could get enough work and keep everyone busy. And also, you know, complete our projects and our dreams. So I think that's why we're in business and we do the various things that we do today.
Thank you for sharing. Joann, same question, the catalyst that made you go into business in the first place.
Sure. I think echoing Felecia, you know, passion. I think passion derives that will to create these businesses and to be able to succeed and to plan them and prepare them and execute them and to get that end result in that product. I think, in every business, it's an art piece. It's a blank canvas. And what you do with that canvas and at the end of that creation is that milestone, that feeling of like, wow, this is amazing. I love that. I think with every business that I've gotten into, and I've done many, many businesses, not just restaurants. I've had car washes. I've had consignment shops. I have had art galleries. Again, I've done entertainment. I think there's always that end result when you see it, and it's a tangible type of item or feeling. You're like, oh my God, I did it. It's complete and it's amazing. And I completed it. I think those are one of the key things for me that keeps driving me into getting into another business and opening another business and expanding. So.
Such grit needed and comfortability with ambiguity, I'm sure, in the process. And then Patricia, same question, the catalyst that made you decide to go into business.
It was so lots of opportunities, I want to say, that came our way. And so for me, it was always about, I've always been about being in community and how do I give back to my community. And so the opportunity came to me, presented itself to come out and save jobs for other individuals that I knew personally. And so I said, why not just start a parking business myself, with having no real hardcore experience in it. But I took that risk, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to start, especially being a woman in kind of like a man industry, where me being the only woman-owned parking business in the Bay Area. So I knew that starting that was a big risk. But for me, had always been about helping my peers within my community.
A common thread, it sounds like, is the reward and the outcome far outweighed the risks that we all have experienced in growing our business. So I honor and commend each one of you. Joann, I'd love to start with you for this question. We've all been through a very volatile past 3 years or so. I think we can all agree. So I'm curious, for all of you, and Joann first, are your current business operations the same as they were when you initially started? And I know, Joann, you've been in a smattering of various businesses, but could you describe kind of what happened in maybe your biggest change in your business model?
Great. I think there's always trial and error when it comes to specific businesses or different businesses that you create. Definitely for me, there was a lot of learning curves that occurred for each business, because as you devise this plan for each business, you come up with this plan and you think it's a solid plan, and you follow it as best as you can, but obviously those things, change. And I think for me, what has changed for me is experience, right? So the failures that I have endured in the 20 years of my career, they have not all been successful. And I think with those failures, you come out winning because of the knowledge that you gain from it. Some of the things that, obviously we went through the pandemic, that was pretty challenging. As a full service restaurant, Cafe Jolie went from, let's say $10,000 on a Saturday going to $200 a day. I mean, people weren't wanting their eggs to go. This was an experience that we provided for people. So definitely, learning from that, trying to pivot. Okay, what can we do? What offers can we do to really drum up business for people to come and, do the takeout orders? During that time, I had opened Don Appetit, which is grab and go artisanal donuts. The opening day was January 31st, and the pandemic hit, I believe it was March 13th. And I go, what are we going to do? But let me tell you, that business saved all my businesses during that time. When I say saved, I was able to make my payroll. And at that time, I had the consignment shop and I had the art gallery and Cafe Jolie. And I was able to take the revenue from the donut shop and pay my people. Right. So I think, you know, you're always evolving, you're always changing, you're always innovating to stay in the game. So those are the key things, I think, you know, when you ask what changes have happened. Oh, you're always changing. There's always stuff happening. You're always implementing.
Some really pivotal moments that I'm sure are very vivid in your mind over the past few years. Congratulations on those huge shifts and being able to crack the code to figuring things out along the way. Patricia, I'd love to hear from you. In addition, kind of where you were when you started, and then what's shifted over the past years in order to fuel your success.
Yeah, so when we first started, we again started off as just doing valet services at various restaurants in heavily in the North Beach area. And a shift that we noticed was when all of the rideshare companies were coming in, where folks were coming in and using the rideshare instead of driving in and using valet. So that's kind of where we saw a little shift, where we also had to think about how are we going to pivot. And around the same time, that's where we were subcontracting with another prime company through these municipal accounts. Fast forward to the pandemic, and at the time, we ended up closing down the valet services in some of the areas in North Beach, and we kept about two small parking lots that we leased. And during the pandemic, we ended up shutting one down because, of course, folks were staying home. We really didn't have any revenue coming in, but we were able to keep all of our staff from of course, the airport contracts. And so for us, that was really a blessing, where we know that no one lost jobs. When people were staying home, our staff was out on site safely, of course, and going through the different protocols. And so that's kind of where we see that, okay, the stability part of the business, where when I was doing valet, it was a lot of like self-financing and adding up those credit cards. And now we're a little bit much more stable, where we're able to have longer contracts. These are union jobs. They're able to have health benefits and also pensions. So that's where this is why we felt that this was a good move for the company.
Thanks, Patricia. And Felecia, same question. Big shifts in your business models.
Well, in 2008, when the economy had gone down, design firms were closing, purchasing companies were closing. No one was buying furniture, and definitely not the hotels. So it was then, designers would come in and they would say, do you rent any of this furniture? And we said, yes, we do, because we had a really nice showroom on Pico Boulevard. And we said, yeah, we do rent the furniture. And, there became another event planner, and she really liked all of her events to be designed, be special. And so I ended up making furniture for her event. And, we were pretty quick at making furniture, 4 to 6 weeks, as long as they had time. But we created a whole line of event rental furniture during that time. And actually, I liked event rental furniture. I mean, I love designing furniture, and I love also being a part of the event and designing for the event and making it exciting and having an experience, for the people. So So that really helped us during that time. And then another time it was COVID. And, you didn't know if you needed to be at home or if you needed to be out with Black Lives Matter or if you needed to be in your business. And during that time, we were working for the SoFi Stadium. And the SoFi Stadium, they were still working. So we just continued to work, and thank goodness we still had contracts during that time. And so we continued to work on our contracts. And, next thing we knew, the SoFi Stadium opened and we put our furniture in there. So it's been luck, and it's really just being innovative. It's being out of the box and willing to create and come up with some new ideas. And I do a lot of that.
It sounds like there are new arms of the business that have come about due to the challenges that we've all faced over the past years. I know we didn't offer virtual skin consultations until our spas all had to close down for more than 12 months off and on. So there's always gifts in the struggles and in the challenges. So we've talked a little bit about the challenges that we've experienced specific to the times. I'm curious to hear what you would say are the pros and then the cons of owning your own business. So the high points and maybe some of those greater, more blanketed challenges that you've experienced. And Felecia, I'd love to start with you.
Oh, okay. The pros. Well, like I say, when you are passionate about something and you're able to do it, the pros are just being able to achieve things, being able to achieve. I mean, working on the Super Bowl, I never thought I'd be providing furniture for the Super Bowl. Or I never thought, furniture would come from Paris and come directly into our factory for us to restore it for the Lumiere restaurant, at the Fairmont Century City Hotel. And I just love walking into the Westin Bonaventure and seeing all the furniture we made and provided there. So, that's a pro. And also another pro is being able to sponsor events and provide furniture for different organizations. And you get to meet a lot of different people, and you get to, inspire their event, help them, through a donation. And I have to say there are a lot of events and a lot of people that we've donated furniture to for an event or just for their home, just because, they didn't have bunk beds, So, those are all pros, really, really being able to give back. Another thing that we want to do is to begin a nonprofit and start a training program for upholsterers. We're finding out that, we're running out of craftsmen every day, and they're no longer, following their mother or father in crafts and keeping it going in the family business. So, and my guys are really passionate about that. When I mentioned to them about starting a nonprofit to train, upholsterers, they were there. They really wanted to do that, and they felt like that was on their mind for years as well. So that's something we'll be doing at Vitality Furniture very soon. I mean, we just moved into our new building a year ago, so we're still working on it, and we have 23,000 square feet. So it's been a process. And so the cons, there are cons every day. I mean, you have to, you manage people, you have your finances, you got to, keep the projects coming in. But, it's just all part of business. And I guess when you're passionate about it, you're going to get it done. So, and we've been pretty lucky. And my husband works with me as well. We started this business in 2003. So it's good to have a partner.
Thank you, Felecia. Joann, same question, pros and cons.
Sure. The pros. Well, I think, the ownership is a pro, but that's a pro in itself, right? Because owning it and being the boss and making those decisions for your team and being responsible for them, right? Because without your team, this isn't all possible. So just that ownership, really just being there for the team. It's such a pro in being there, being a mentor for all of them, and being really involved with the community is a pro. I mean, with everything that we do and give back that I've been doing for 20 years, any donations, small donations, big donations, whatever donation, I'm happy to do that because of the success that I've been given. It's so important that, we do give back. The cons, I think, just having enough time to complete all the tasks, especially when you're developing new business plans and you want to keep the current businesses also going, right? You should never feel like you have enough time. And then balancing your personal life, your kids, your family, your household, maintaining all of that, yourself, because I think that's really key. Us women tend to take care of everything else, and we're the last on that list. So, so I think that's really important that we give self-love to ourselves during the cons.
So incredibly important. If we're not here, the business isn't here, right? I always try and remind myself of that. Patricia, yeah, same question, pros and cons for you.
I'm going to start with the cons, and it's similar with what Felecia and Joann were saying. Definitely a lot, having to be present, long working hours, and taking up a lot of the energy into putting it into the business. For myself, of course, has always been, as a small business owner, has been the financial stability of it, and going into as a new organization, new business, and looking for working capital, at banks, and that was always, what was challenges at first. But with the pros, I want to say that a lot of it is, again, going back to community and being able to hire from community, and having all these new different opportunities that give us more stability, and also an impact within our communities. Also, with what Joann was saying with donations, Felecia saying creating nonprofits, the flexibility to have that chance to give back and open or be set as an example to others who want to be entrepreneurs or start their own business, and empower them to do that, and discuss the journeys of what we go through, because it's not easy, but definitely that is, I really want to say that that's one of the pros, is that we have grown. We started from 2 employees, now we have over 150 employees, and so just setting that example for others that want to become business owners as well, and guiding them, because I didn't have a lot of that at the very beginning. And so being able to share my experience.
Thanks, Patricia. It's so inspiring to hear each of you talk about giving back, like the authenticity and the intentionality of first solving a problem, right, as a business owner, and then being able to return even more to those that have supported you and those that are looking up to you or following on your path is such an inspiration. So I'm curious, I think this would be really helpful for everyone on this call to hear today. So with all of these challenges and the lack of time available for us to balance all things considered, I would love to hear from each of you what routines you follow each day. So whether that's time and task management, I know for me, I have 3 non-negotiables, and they are very, very small. Like one of them is drinking water, a certain amount of water every day. But it makes a huge difference, right, in our stability and our sustainability, our foundation to lead and to grow. So whether you want to stay high level or specific, Joann, I'll start with you. We'd love to hear, what are some of your routines that make you successful each day?
Sure. I think discipline. You have to be disciplined in everything that you do, and whether it's discipline on timeliness or organization, it's about discipline. I discipline myself, where every morning I'm up at 5 o'clock, no later. There's a routine that's involved. Check my emails, get my cup of coffee. Everyone's still sleeping. The kids are still sleeping. Get all that, that initial, work done that sets your day and your tone for the day, right? And you prioritize those lists as they're coming at you with those, 200 emails that you're filtering through. Get the kids to school. Boom. Luckily for me, school's 10 minutes away. So get there, get to the office, and you're dealing with your team. I stop by multiple stores because currently we have 3 stores. They're all here in Alameda, but I do make it a point to stop by, check in with management, see how everyone's going, make it my way to the office. And, the other store's 3 miles away from the main store. So a little bit of a trek through town, but it's just an organized type of day, a type of week, a type of month. I have, meetings and schedules. They're all out 2 months in advance, just so that I can make sure that I can fit everything in. In addition to running a business, I'm also part of the Chamber of Commerce. I'm one of the board members. I will be the president next year. I have a 2-year term. So it's a lot, but if I believe that it all can be completed with discipline and good time management.
Wow, inspiring. Time management is everything. Patricia, I'd love to hear the same answer from you, some routines that help set you up for success.
Yeah, definitely with the time management and consistency. Coffee first, of course, for me, and opening up my laptop and emails, and the 3 things: my email, QuickBooks, and the bank account. So every day, that's something that is part of the routine, but also checking in with my operations manager. Of course, our sites are very spread out, so checking in every day of seeing if there's any issues that we need to discuss, anything that needs to be tackled, and making it a point to schedule time out to go and visit the various sites and be visible. So again, the consistency with checking in, having a short morning huddle to see if just what the day looks like. And yeah, planning ahead. Planning, my calendar is on my phone, and I'm on my phone 24/7. Sometimes I feel like it, but making sure that we're out and any events are planned out.
Perfect. And Felecia, same question, some of the routines that set you up for success.
Well, I wake up at about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I start thinking about everything that needs to be done that day. And I probably start texting about 6 a.m. And so I start my day, and I get out, and I get into the office. And it's important to be innovative. I think that has helped us be successful. And, you also have to understand the trends of your industry as well. And understanding the people that you're working with, because, I work with creative people all the time. And, they have different temperaments, but, they produce really good work. So I really have to understand, the people that I work with. And also you have to be resilient, sheesh, it's a lot of work. Uh, I did like 3 events in 3 days, and, you're just really down, and you really have to pick yourself up and get back to work and, handle, other things that are going on. So, and other challenges, I should say. So, another thing, you have to be very resourceful. I mean, I've got a list in my phone, because you never know what you're going to need, in a day. Um, so, and you have to develop good time management, and you have to be able to balance your family and your business. And that's a tough thing. I think my parents would like to see me more often who are in Texas. Um, and other than that, I think it's really being able to take care of yourself and realize how important you are, you know, and take care of your health and, take care of your mind, body, and spirit. So that's a lot of conversation, but, I surely would like to get to that. And I've been working on that. That's one of my goals. It's at the top now.
The list is exhaustive when it comes to all the things that all four of us are balancing, and I'm sure everyone on this call today. It sounds like discipline is first and foremost, and then that resiliency, right? When things are busy, it hopefully means business is moving and grooving, but it takes a toll on all, on the owners specifically, especially if you're balancing a home life at the same time. I would love to kind of shift gears. I know there were quite a few questions that came in, or folks hoping to learn about the topic and arena of marketing. We have just about 10 to 12 more minutes with hearing from you all. I want to make sure we have time for questions, but I want to dive in a bit to marketing. So maybe, Patricia, if we could start with you, talking about what's been successful in marketing your business when it first started and how you're currently keeping things fresh. If anyone feels called to speak about Instagram or email, direct mail, word of mouth. There's obviously many vehicles for marketing, and it's ever evolving and changing very quickly. So if each of you could just speak on kind of what's working for you, I think that would be really beneficial to the audience. And again, Patricia, let's go ahead and start with you.
For us, it's been mostly through word of mouth. I know that's something where we need to definitely improve in marketing, putting ourselves out there. A lot of it has been through networking, through whether in person with other organizations, or even through, we have a website, of course, adding in needs, we need to add more, but for us, our plan is to revamp and use social media, of course, as a way to market ourselves, but also market the changes in the parking business, and of course, always highlighting a woman minority-owned business. And so, social media is where we are targeting at. We do have a LinkedIn, but again, it's being active, and so. Word of mouth right now and networking through our own, network. So, yeah.
Nothing more powerful than the power of word and testimonial. Felecia, let's turn to you in terms of the topic of marketing.
Well, we've been very fortunate. We've been in business for so long that word of mouth has been a lot of ways that we get a lot of our projects. And social media is a really big thing. And, having a great website. And I really work on that a lot. And actually, I've hired some people to do that because, you're too busy to say what you did yesterday. you know so So yeah, that's been important to us. And I really feel there's a lot of business out there, and I have to, hire more people so that we can attend to those new clients out there for us. So, but yes, marketing is something I think we've worked on for a very long time, our business. And just being involved in events we've got into production of some events. And we were also able to work with Christian Dior, and his pop-ups. So it really has branched off into some other clients that we may not have had, just being being able to do production for events. So, but you know what? We're into furniture and we're into making furniture, and it's ingrained into a lot of different entities, in the world.
Thank you. Joann, same question.
Sure. Gosh, when I started this business over 20 years ago with the pizza place, it was all about the yellow pages.
Can you imagine?
Full page of the menu, and everyone was all about their yellow pages. You had to make sure you got in before the deadlines, because if you weren't in as a pizza place, that was like a number one thing for pizza places. So, so much has changed. I mean, it is all about social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, the reels. I think it's really key when you're creating your social media that the content that you're putting in there is really speaking of your business. It's sending the message. For example, our crab cake Benedicts. When you see that picture, you want it. You want to eat it. So that content that you're producing, the verbiage that goes out with that, whether you attach it with music or whatever it is, it's so key, because that's what people are engaged with these days is the social media platforms. For me, I've just hired a content creator to do the reels, so I'm getting into that. My daughter, she knows the TikTok stuff. I'm still learning it. I go, I don't get it. I need to hire someone. But those are huge right now, where you've got the content in there, the music's going. It really speaks your business, and people can feel it through the images and just watching it. So I think it's really key that people invest in those type of marketing. Not saying that the networking and connections also don't work, or the guerrilla marketing, word of mouth, that all works. You have to always incorporate all of that into your business. But where our time and age is going, it's all the social media. So my recommendation to you folks is work on that social media, work on that website, make it tight, make it clean, hire some professional photographers that just get they capture those images that just speak your business, and people understand it. They want it. They want to buy it. They want to be part of it. It's really key.
So important to stay up on the ever-changing times. I know for us, something that's really set us up for success is working ahead rather than depending on in the moment, as I think it was Felecia or Patricia, no time to talk about what you did that day. But we have kind of a 360 marketing calendar spreadsheet where we'll go and high level plan the month out to get ahead and create strategies for social, for email. And that's really helped us to be successful ahead of time. Okay. I think zooming back out, I suppose, I would love to learn your opinions on 1 to 2 qualities that you think every entrepreneur should possess. Joann, I want to start with you.
Perseverance and passion. I think those two go hand in hand. When you get into this business, it can eat you up alive. You can't give up on that dream. You got to keep going. You get pushed down, get back up. You got to persevere. If you are really passionate about this business and you want to make it work, you stick to it and persevere. So I'd have to do perseverance and passion all the way, hands down.
Beautiful. Patricia, same question.
Joann, you took mine. I was thinking the same thing. Definitely having to be determined and committed to not wanting to give up, of course, because it's not going to be easy. And also just being open to looking out for mentorship, because we don't know it all, and industries change. So those would be my.
Thank you. So important to build in some sort of mentorship program. Felecia, a couple of qualities that you think every entrepreneur should possess.
Well, you've got to be innovative. You've got to understand the trends, got to understand people, you got to be resilient, and you have to be resourceful. And you got to take care of yourself. I just think those are the main things, and you'll have a chance, a good chance.
All of that and mixing in passion. Okay, looking future forward, everyone, looking out, and I'm sure we all have our visions, our goals, our aspirations. If you could kind of project 5 to 10 years out, where do you see each of your businesses? Patricia, I'd love to hear from you first.
I definitely see our business outside of the Bay Area, expanding to other airports, or even maybe other states in the West Coast, and also owning property. We have leased throughout the years at our certain parking lots, and that has always been a goal of mine, so that we could have our own space, our own property, our own parking lot, so that we could. Ownership is key. So that's really where I see our business.
Wonderful. Felecia, love to hear the same answer from you.
I agree about owning property because, we've leased so many buildings over the years, and it would be great to own our own building. Over 5 years, we have our event rental business, and we have our furniture manufacturing business. I would like a very large building for all of that. Or I'd like 2 separate buildings for it. And, if I could find a way to really manage those businesses and grow them, I would be in awe. I would like for us to elevate our brand, our Vitality Furniture brand, quality furniture, and just to continue to grow, especially in the hotel industry, and also to create our own line of furniture. We just get so busy doing other things, we don't have all that time for our own line of furniture. But we do have a line of furniture, with rentals. So that's been fun. And I'd like for us to become a leader in the industry. We've had a lot of experience. Even a lot of our team has been with us for 20 years. So we do have a lot of experience here. And I think right now we just really like to start giving back. And I think that's going to start with we've been doing it, but it'll help, once we start our nonprofit program and start training people in the community to start seeing what this furniture manufacturing is all about. I remember when I was little and we used to go and stay in hotels, I thought it was just to have fun, I didn't think about really making furniture for the hotels. I didn't think about really having a job in the hotel. And even I look at some of the people who do work in the hospitality industry. It's a great job because you can work anywhere around the world where that Hilton or Marriott is. You can live your life around the world working in a hotel. And I've enjoyed manufacturing furniture and creating it up and shipping it out around the world. We did do a project in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, and we were in London. We worked with a design firm in London. I've been a member and a board member for the Network of Executive Women in Hospitality in Los Angeles. And it's very inspiring. I have to say. So in 5 years, yes, hopefully people will learn more about us and we'll be able to be more part of their lives and really beginning to understand, making products instead of just being consumers.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Joann,
Sure.
I'd love to hear 5 to 10 years. Look out.
Sure.
Look out
Oh
for-
man, that's way I know. That's around the corner.
Right?
So
Yeah.
definitely
Yes, it
expansion.
is.
Definitely expansion. We've got many things happening in the pipeline slated for next year, which is super, super exciting. I'm hoping in a short-term goal for next year to double our revenue for next year. 5 years, hoping that Donut Petite becomes a recognized brand in California. So we've had opportunities of expansion in LA, Sacramento, different areas of the Bay Area, taking it slow, taking it step by step, because as we all know, when we grow too fast and don't have that support system, that could all just come crumbling down. So definitely expanding Donut Petite into a higher level brand that people recognize in California. We'll start with California, the hardest city to, or the hardest state to operate and own a business, right? Ownership of a building. I agree with these ladies. It's, that's one thing that I can say in my experience is that I wish that I had bought buildings that I was operating my restaurants out of rather than renting, because that becomes the true ownership of it all, right? So not only do you own the business, you own the property. You're investing back into yourself, which is amazing, right? So I think to echo what the ladies are saying, ownership of the building, I'd like to see that in the next 5 years for myself as well, and expansion.
Super inspiring. Thank you all for sharing. I think it's so powerful to declare, right? And speak out loud, whether it's the next year or the North Star that's driving us 10, 20, a couple of decades from now. So I think that's the first step, is getting clear. I know I'm, 6 to 7 years into my business. One thing I'll add to this great advice is talking to people who are where you want to be. So I know many of these women have tenure on me. So it's, looking ahead for me and talking to those business owners that have more than 2 stores, have a fleet of 10 stores, and really understanding like the holistic experience of what that looks like, right? From a work life, what actually are they doing on a day-to-day? What's the home life look like? And getting really clear on that is what I want, or that is what I want. And then starting to declare it and talk to people about those long-term goals, I think is really critical to staying on the track. So we are at our final question. Remember, if anyone has any questions, please continue to drop them in the chat. We're going to get to those in just a few minutes. So if you have a few to type in, please leave those in the chat. We have a good amount of time for some questions for our panelists. So the final question, I would love to hear from each of you as we wrap things up. The best piece of advice you could give anyone looking to start a new business. So for those that are just looking for the initial funding, for those that are in expansion mode and looking to maybe create new arms of the business, wherever we're at, just like that piece of advice. And you guys have given so many good golden nuggets during this conversation. But Joann, I'd love to hear, your number one piece of advice for somebody that's looking to start out.
Sure. I think having a strong business plan, you can dream it up, you can have it in your head, but when you actually put it into paper and you devise that business plan and you really go through all of that, all the little nooks and crannies and all the little details that it takes to make that plan happen, it's so, so key. I think a lot of people create these dreams in their head and don't know how to kind of put it into a plan. And it's so, so important that you do put it in a plan, because it gives you that foundation. It gives you that map to follow so that you can complete this mission and get to that promised land, or, the golden goose egg, whatever you want to call it, right? Surround yourself with really good support, right? So I just want to give a shout out to Muna Reber from CalTrust, the Oakland branch. She really helped me a lot during the pandemic. I mean, they went through, oh my goodness, amazing, tremendous help, got me PPP loans to get through that tough time. So having a really good support system, the financial piece of it is really important. Partner up with a bank that's going to help you. Because let me tell you, after being in this industry for 20 years, and I started out with the big corporate banks, Bank of America, Citibank, Wells Fargo, you name it. I've had relationships with all of them. Let me tell you, CalTrust, it is the concierge of small business help right there. So partner up with people that are going to help you with that financial piece. Have a good CPA and have a good bookkeeper, because you don't want that mess at the end of the year when you're putting everything together, and you don't want future mess happening as well. And lastly, win with passion. I know we talked about it all, throughout this morning, but win with passion. Thank you.
Incredible advice. Patricia, piece of advice you could give to someone looking to start out?
Similar to what Joann was saying, especially with coming up with a strong business plan, researching the organizations, community organizations that really focus on small businesses. Here's my shout out to Working Solutions. I know that they came through and took a risk and believed in me in the business, and so they were able to provide us our first loan, and it helped us with getting equipment that we needed, that was, expensive equipment that was required from the city and county of San Francisco. And so had I not known about Working Solutions, I don't know if I would still be here, if the business would have evolved as it has. But my advice is to really look for the organizations that will really advocate for small businesses, especially for minorities, for women, because they do. That is why they're there. That is their purpose, and I really do believe in these nonprofits that are here to help small businesses. And of course, yes, get a good accountant and CPA. That is key too, as well.
Excellent. Felecia, piece of advice.
Well, I echo both of those. I mean, good job. Yes. I will say that when we moved, we've been in this new building for a year, and I've had different organizations surround us. We had the WorkSource program providing, applicants for jobs. We had the District 9 Jedi Zone Economic Development Program. They came in. And also we have the California Manufacturing Technology Consulting organization to help us consult us on some of the challenges in this building to, just like the spray booth. I had to put a spray booth up. So, but they were there to assist us. So you do have to surround yourself with good organizations, help get your business certified, become a woman-owned business, become a minority-owned business, and also become involved in organizations so you can find out what is available to your business. And also your education, continue to educate yourself, go to college, get a master's, get a PhD. You need to understand business and how to move products, because there are people who just enjoy being in business. It doesn't matter what the product is, they just enjoy being in business. And if you have all those elements to move business, then you can become a successful business. And it's good to be passionate about it, but it's so important to understand business.
I wish
have a good bank.
All of your advice.
Yes, I have
critical.
enjoyed
So
Yes,
critical.
I have enjoyed being with California Bank and Trust. I mean, even just going to the different locations, they know who you are. So I enjoy it because it's a small bank and it's not such a big bank, but they know who you are and they also know what your needs are. So that's why I guess we've been with them for 20 years. So they've been very helpful.
Such great pieces of advice, and it just goes to show the resources that are truly available to female-owned, minority-owned businesses. I couldn't agree more. Accessity was our very first micro loan to open my first shop. We put the shelves up by hand. They funded our first location, including our first run of inventory. And retail startup, let me tell you, is not the most attractive for banks. Not a lot of people wanted to talk to me, given our margins and given the volatility of the retail environment in general. So I couldn't agree more with each of you. The support that's out there for me, Accessity was my key to being able to chase after my dreams and solve the problem that I saw and that I experienced during my journey prior to entrepreneurship. So thank you for sharing that in-depth support. I know that is just incredibly valuable to all of us here today. So that was our last question. So much value. It's been so incredible getting to know each of you and your stories, Joann, Patricia, and Felecia. Thank you for all of your answers. I would love to pass the baton over to Suzanne, who's going to manage the chat, and we'd love to dive in to see if there are any questions from our audience that we could answer.
Yes, thank you so much. We got some great audience questions, so thank you for everyone to submitting. Some have kind of been answered, but we'll dive a little bit deeper into a lot of the topics that were touched on today. One great one, I think, Leah, you kind of touched on, and it's been touched on throughout, but a question that was asked is, many of the challenges that face women is financing. How did you find financial support? So I know we talked a little bit about CDFIs, banks, but is there anything someone wants to add about how did you find financial support? Yeah, Joann, you can start.
Sure, I can start. So when we first opened our brick and mortar, it was all self-funded through me. It was a little bit easier because it was a sublease within a restaurant that already had existing kitchens, equipment, and whatnot. So we just came in there and basically plugged and played. But when we first got our actual brick and mortar, that this was ours, I went through hard money lenders. And if anyone knows what that's all about, it's high interest rates, really just black and white and not good rates. So, back then when you're learning the industry, you don't know what resources you have and what you can do when you're starting up. So, you just, I think at that time I did have a mentor that was, he was self-employed, and he, was an entrepreneur, and he said, "Hey, Joann, I've got hard money lenders if you want that." And at that point I said, I didn't really know what to do. I said, okay, I guess I'll just take them on. High interest rates. So if you could avoid those, definitely try to be more, get the resources through the banking, like what Leah did.
Yeah, that's super helpful. Anyone else want to touch on financing? Okay, let's move on to the next question. I think this is a great one. How do you currently market being a woman-owned business? Do you promote that on your website? Do you have any certifications? How about Leah? Do you want to start with that one?
Yeah, I'd love to. Being woman-owned and led is the bread and butter of our business. I think even being in the health and wellness space, it's something that is near and dear to my heart. Unfortunately, as I've delved into this industry, more often than not, we hear stories from female customers and women in general that are dealing with chronic health concerns or digestive disorders or allergies or skin conditions that go unnoticed, or unanswered, I should say. So it really is important to me to not only serve my community in what I wish that I knew back then that I know now, but declare my work to being in that service position, into a leadership role and into a business owner. So I think having a strong website, which all of us spoke to today, having kind of a very formidable landing page that really talks about your why, your about, how you started the business. It really is important when there are a infinite number of choices in today's marketplace. Heart and story and connection to the why of the business is really today going to be the final decision maker when it comes to consumers choosing where they spend their money. So a lot of people will refer to my about page and my story when they come in. Oh, I read your story. It's so inspiring. It's so amazing. And then showing up, I think, all of us are very prominent in the community and telling our story and mentoring others. So showing up, telling that story, and then, having a go-to space for new customers that are coming into the funnel to really understand, your why, the obstacles that you have encountered and achieved, and your North Star.
Yeah, I love that. Felecia, what about you? Do you market your business as a woman-owned business?
Yes, I do. Actually, I think being a woman-owned business and marketing to the MGM, it really helped me get into the corporate space of furniture manufacturing for hotels. And the MGM was one of the only companies back in the day that actually knew how to take a woman-owned business and actually give them a contract. And what they did is they referred us to their purchasing company, which was Stroud. And I worked really hard to get into Stroud. And one of the projects we worked with them was in Detroit, a hotel in Detroit. And we ended up getting the contract with the MGM, in Detroit, but through Stroud. And I think we did so well on the project that Stroud held on to us, and I still work with them to this very day. So sometimes, it's hard, I think, to get in to corporate to get these contracts. But it's very important for that corporate entity to know how to work with that business and get that business involved, get that business a contract, let them perform, and just give them that opportunity. And if you can perform, I think you can stay in business and continue to get contracts. So I think it's important to become certified.
Yes, I agree. Thank you so much. What about Patricia? Do you market yourself as a woman-owned business?
Absolutely, all day, all the time. And also in joining different, and also I've joined a group of, it's called Women in Parking. So joining those circles of other women that are in the parking industry and putting ourselves or the business out there and promoting it. So yes, I that's what I am always in proposals, everything. So yes.
Wonderful. What about Joann?
100%. 100%. You have to market that. I mean, that is the heart and soul of my company, right? I also want to be a good mentor to my 2 little girls, that one day if they decide they want to take over, that, that this is a women-owned business. So 100%.
I love it. Thank you so much. This has been touched on throughout the presentation, but I'd love to hear a little bit more about mentorship. It was also asked in our registration page. A lot of people were interested. Can you each talk a little bit? Do you have a mentor? Have you had mentors in the past? And what things are you looking for, especially if they're not a similar business to yours? Why don't we start with Patricia?
Can you repeat it again? You said if we have a mentor.
Yeah, if you have a mentor, and then if you have a mentor and they're not in your industry, like how do you work with them, and what things are you looking for?
Yeah, so I do have a mentor. She actually was the one who introduced me to the Women in Parking organization. So that's how I got and she is retired now and has been in the parking industry for about over 30 years. And so being able to reach out to her, asking her for any questions where I may feel insecure, I don't know, or advice from her she has always been really available and open to checking in with me and advising on how I should approach certain different opportunities. I was with a mentor that I was partnered with a mentor through Working Solutions, which that was great at the beginning, with a gentleman that had a completely different business, was not in parking, but he was in business at the time for, I believe, 20 plus years. And so it wasn't so much as to comparing the industries. It was more about like the operational parts of having your own small business, and that was very helpful. And especially uh, speaking about accounting within the business, of course, CPAs. That was very important for me um, to establish, because I am an LLC. The company is the LLC, and so wanting to make sure that we were compliant. Um, you know, it wasn't. I don't see an issue with a mentor having a different industry. It's just more finding ways where you both connect and how can you learn from your mentor.
Yeah, that's a great point. How about Leah?
My mentor helped me start my service arm of my business. So I am not a licensed esthetician. However, I own a spa. So that gap in knowledge and awareness and formal training and certification was vast. So she is actually not only the maker and founder of the back bar of our spa, but also has served as my champion and mentor throughout it all. So she's definitely within, my specific business model, and so incredible to be able to call and bounce, compensation questions off, or spa menu, industry questions. Really helpful to have somebody internal in that space. But I would say, like, even an external mentor, the thing that has been the most challenging for me to learn is the people management component. And I think that is pretty similar across all industries. You have payroll budget, you have, HR, right? And especially California state HR can get really, really, really complicated. So I think anyone outside of your specific industry really tapping into some expertise around the HR and people management component, that is a whole ball game. On it, I have about 20 employees. I know Joann, Felecia, and Patricia probably have many more, but it's tricky, right? It's incredibly tricky.
Yeah. How about Felecia?
I really just like to look at successful businesswomen. For example, Janice Howard Bryant. I mean, she started from A and went to Z, and she has a great corporation. And it's always, how do you do that? How do you get from A to Z? There are not that many African Americans, or that many women in furniture manufacturing. So I've had to rely on just associates, and asking them questions, and navigating and finding my way through. So I've just been inspired by successful women, and so I just ask them, questions that might help me along the way.
Yes, I love that. And then lastly, Joann.
Yeah, so a lot of reading, a lot of research. Now that you have Google, everything's so accessible. You could just type in the question and it pops up. Just a lot of self-research and self-education. But also having colleagues and friends, personal friends of mine that are in, the entrepreneur world, that have owned, many different businesses, have ran many different companies, just bouncing back ideas with them, getting advice, having a good lawyer, just a general lawyer. For me, I handle a lot of leases that I get into. So I definitely have a really good real estate lawyer that watches my back when I'm, signing paperwork to, 5, 10, 20-year leases. You got to make sure that stuff is in line. So I do have a mentor, and he's a personal friend of mine. He's not in my same genre of business, but he's been in the business of self-employment for over 50 years. And he's the owner of the Grand Lake Theater here in Oakland. He's owned maybe 60 movie theaters all over the Bay Area. And whenever I'm needing some advice on certain things, whether it's an HR or a financial piece or something, I'm calling Alan. And he gives me great advice. So, and great mentorship. So.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you so much to all the wonderful women entrepreneurs here today. I'm going to toss it back to Lisa because we're just a little 1 minute over time, but this has just been such a wonderful webinar. I know we didn't get to every question and people are eager to connect with the panelists. So I will I'll share my screen and I'll let Lisa talk a little bit more about that.
Yes. As we conclude this very insightful discussion, we want to thank you, the audience, for attending. We know that as an entrepreneur, your time is very valuable, and we hope the insights shared today inspire and empower you. A special thank you to our panelists who have shown that with their determination and innovation, you can overcome any challenge and achieve your dreams. I want to give another thank you to Working Solutions and to Accessity for helping organize this webinar. Now, audience, it's your turn to take action. Here's what you can do. Connect. Reach out to our panelists and fellow attendees through our networking platform to foster valuable connections and collaborations. Their contact information will be sent to you along with a recording of this webinar. Join the conversation, follow us on social media, and stay updated on upcoming events, discussions, and opportunities for growth. Your feedback really, really matters. It's invaluable to us. So please be on the lookout for a follow-up email from us and let us know what you really thought about this event that we had today. And remember, shop women-owned businesses. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Have a great day.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.